Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Next Step Espresso, your daily shot of fitness. I am your host as always, Johnny Landels from Next Step Nutrition, bringing you the podcast that helps you overcome the industry confusion and get results for life. Today we're on episode 439. When you're on a fitness journey, you definitely need to be taking measurements and progress markers to know whether you're heading in the right direction. We spoke yesterday about how to motivate yourself properly, so definitely go and listen to that if you haven't already, because we talked about setting yourself on progress-based goals and how that's the much better way to motivate yourself. With regards to measurements, we can measure both objectives, outcomes, and we can measure progress markers, behaviors, and I think having a good balance of both helps you for sure. You need to start with an outcome or an objective in order to know where you're going. A weight loss approach, for example, is going to be very different to a muscle gain or a performance approach, although there may be similar habits that need to be instilled along the way. But knowing where you're going also applies to your behaviors. So if you know that your goal is to eat slowly at each meal, that becomes your objective, and everything gets built around measuring what does eating slowly look like to you. So it doesn't just matter about having a weight loss goal, for example, but you could have an objective goal purely based around your habit. You then need to think about breaking that down and thinking, what does that look like for you in order to measure it effectively. If we had no clear definition, it's hard to know exactly what we mean. This is where the clean eating movement falls down, because there's not a clear definition of what eating clean is, and for some person it may be different to someone else, and there's a lot of dogma and shaming in that industry, which we don't need to go into in this episode. But try to measure only what is important to your goal, right? Because it can be very hard to measure your time, measure if you're eating slowly, measure your waist, measure your weight, measure your progress photos, measure your amount of veggies you eat. You want to focus on less, but do it better. So from an outcome based, I do recommend an average body weight, progress photos and measurements, but maybe once a month rather than every week or even every day. With regards to your habits, have a think about what's most important. Is it your progress in the gym? Is it your progress in fitness? Is it the fact that you are now feeling better, you're virus free, your blood tests have improved, you get less colds, that kind of thing. But how you walk, how you talk, your posture, your actions, all of these also can be included in terms of how you're feeling and if your fitness journey is helping you improve the things you want to improve. But when you think about what you want to accomplish, start to break it down and think about how you can measure that. If one of your goals is feeling better, what does that mean to you? Write it down and really break it down. Is it the fact you sleep better? Is it the fact that you have a more even mood? Is it the fact you have more energy? Is it the fact you can walk up the stairs without getting out of breath? How can you measure it objectively? Because then you're giving yourself something to aim for. I know I am sleeping better because I can wake up earlier without an alarm and don't need to go and grab a coffee to perk myself up. I know I am feeling better because I don't get an afternoon slump of energy and I don't need to go and grab a caffeine drink in order to perk myself up. So you go from having a vague goal to being precise. Rather than just saying lose weight, it's I want to lose X amount of weight and I want to feel better and I want to look leaner, and what these things mean to me are these things, and this is exactly how it needs to look. Because then from there you start with your purpose, you start with your objectives, you think about what the goal is, why it's important to you, and then you can start to think, right, what do I need to know in order to follow this goal? What do I need to do in order to achieve this goal? How will I know if I've achieved this goal, what progress markers will tell me if I'm heading in the right direction or if I'm achieved it. And in terms of that progress indicator, where am I right now? Because if you can build these checkpoints into your journey, you'll know, for one, why you're trying to do what you're doing. You'll know, for two, the right road to get there, because you'll say, right, out of all of this fitness information, if I only want to do this, I only need to worry about this area of the research or this area of a program. And if I follow that religiously, I can track these progress markers, and if I'm doing that religiously and I'm not achieving these progress markers, then I need to change the program, because that's unfortunately what too many people do. They do a program, not really follow it, don't get the results, and then think the program is the issue. Whereas if you can follow less but better and be adherent to it, you can then check your progress markers, see if you're heading in the right direction, and if you aren't, then you can change the program. But you only change the plan and the actions if you're sticking to them and if they're not giving you the results. Thank you as always for listening to Next Step Espresso. I hope you enjoyed this episode. A reminder to you guys that on Thursday night at 8 p.m. we are holding a webinar on why calorie counting is failing you. You can register for that in the link in the show description of this episode, and I'd love to see you there.